Hey, what's up? So today I'm going to talk about how to make money as a beginner colorist. So let's jump right in. So the reason I'm doing this is because I do get a lot of questions about how to get started as a colorist. I remember when I was getting started, you kind of didn't really know how to start, how to get work, all of that sort of thing. So first off, these are probably not going to be what you expect, because I feel like when someone asks me this who wants to be a colorist, I feel like they're expecting things like, oh, buy this monitor, buy this computer, and a lot of technical kind of nerdy stuff. But what I usually start off with, the number one thing you can do to make money as a colorist, become a professional colorist, or whatever it is you might want to do with this, is to learn cinematography. I can't stress that enough. Color grading, just like cinematography, is half technical, half creative. But the more successful colorists, I would say, are probably way more creative than technical. There's a lot of colorists who are super, super technical, just like any other professional, musicians or anything like that, photographer. They know their f-stop, they know their aperture, they know all the technical stuff, they know lenses, but they almost put that as the primary reason that they do the job, and they use that as, how they want to show off that they know what they're doing is just knowing all their technical stuff. And even though that's really important, I would say learn the craft, learn, color story, learn your lenses, learn lighting, learn everything you can about how to make something cinematic. Because again, you see a ton of videos on YouTube and on all kinds of social media. How do I make this look cinematic? How do I make that look cinematic? And the answer is never going to be, do these 3 quick steps, follow this LUT, apply this filter, whatever. It's always going to come down to being on set, knowing lighting, knowing lens choice, knowing story structure. And you may not think that that relates to color correction, but once you get into a room with, say, a high-end DP or like a bigger company who hire, very experienced directors and cinematographers, a lot of it is creative, a lot of it is technical, and you have to know that side. And you'll find that knowing cinematographer almost on the level as a professional cinematographer is going to be the number one reason why you get work, you get paid. People will be willing to pay you, whatever your rate might be. And so if there's anything you get out of this video, it's learn cinematography. And so tip number 2 would be to practice and practice and practice on your own footage. Don't sit around, wait to get jobs, wait to get work. Take your camera, whatever your camera might be, shoot footage, shoot, daytime exteriors, daytime interiors, shoot in dark areas, bright areas, intermediate lit areas, different kinds of lighting sources. Go out, shoot this, and then grade it. And then also watch movies and try to recreate those looks in your footage. And you'll probably learn really fast that you really can't slap a look on footage, that a lot of it comes down to, like what I was saying before, cinematography, how was it shot, how was the set dressed, what kind of lenses were used, what kind of lighting were used. But if you just start practicing on your own footage, I think you'll learn really quickly. You'll learn what's possible, what isn't possible, what helps a look come across, what hurts a look from coming across. And so it's really that simple. Even if you know cinematography, even if you know a lot of the technical stuff, if you don't practice, you're not going to be able to color correct anything, create looks, and know what works best. And so tip number 3 is learn color science. It's really important to know, what is Rec. 709, what is P3, what is Da Vinci, wide gamut, all of those different things, what's log, all this sort of stuff. It's important to know because if you are very creative and you know technical, sometimes the places where beginning colorists mess up the most is maybe setting up the wrong settings in Da Vinci Resolve or whatever color grading program you're using. That stuff is very important so that what you shoot is what you're grading, is what you're outputting and delivering, and it looks good, at its final destination where it's going to screen, theater, iPhone, iPad, YouTube, anywhere. You have to know color science. You have to know the pipeline of the image from the camera to the final deliverable so that you can have the best looking product. For example, we've all had situations where we grade something and we export it and it looks not at all the way it looks in DaVinci Resolve or Premiere or wherever. It looks washed out, it looks too saturated, it looks too dark, it looks too bright. So learn that building block of it and you'll start becoming a better and better colorist. All right, and so now on to number 4. This is one that's not typically expected, and that is find a mentor. This can be, you know, a DP friend, this can be a colorist friend, this can be someone that works in the field professionally. It's great to have someone who knows more than you do, because there's nothing better than asking someone, you know, even down to the business side of things, because being a colorist, especially a working colorist, making money as a colorist, you have to know the client side, the business side, all that, you know, stuff like taxes and, you know, getting a proper office space and painting the walls and calibrating your studio. It's all of that stuff. It's color science, it's the creative stuff. There's a lot of stuff involved in this. And if you know someone who's been there, who's done it, it's so much easier to just call them up, text them, ask them questions, and to make things a lot easier. I've mentored a lot of people and I've noticed them go from point A to point B much faster than I did, which is what I love doing. I have friends who I've helped out that way. I love giving them tips. I love giving them advice. I love helping them, you know, set up, you know, a studio and, you know, become better cinematographers, become better colorists. And, you know, that's one of those things that it's great to do, to have a mentor. And then once you start learning, to be a mentor. So it's really just about sharing your knowledge. One of the reasons why, you know, I do have this channel and I do have my classes on Skillshare, which check those out if you have not. It's because I find that it's just mutually beneficial to everyone involved when you have a mentor or when you are a mentor to someone. Okay, and then so number 5, that is tell everyone what you're doing. If you want to make money as a colorist, whether it's just like a small side thing and you're actually an editor, or you have a production company and you want to maybe start charging to do some color correction, just tell everyone, you know, ask this person, hey, are you shooting something? Let me take a stab at color correction. Let me take a stab at grading it. How much do you charge? That's a topic for an entirely different video, because I am definitely someone who will tell you, don't do it for free, even if it's like an intro thing that's like you're learning. Don't do it for free, but that's a topic for a whole other video. But the point of this is tell everyone what you're doing, because they'll tell someone else and they'll tell someone else. And that's how you will get work to start out with. If you're just out there being quiet, being shy about it, nothing's gonna happen. Work it into your conversations. Tell everybody that you're doing it and you'll find that the work, if you put that energy out there, you'll find that the work will come to you. So number 6, this is definitely one of the most important ones. And that is to have someone give you direction on how to grade something. No matter who it is, it can be someone who's in the film industry, someone who's not in the film industry. If I were to pick out of those two, I would say ask someone who is not in the film industry, who knows nothing about color correction, nothing about color grading. They don't know what contrast, highlight, shadow, saturation, they don't know what any of that is. And that's because that's what the real world is like. It's a lot more likely that you're going to be working with a director or a producer or someone who doesn't know anything. They're maybe just creative, they're maybe just business people, they may be great at networking and now they're in the grading suite with you, or they're giving you remote notes. When you grade something for someone else or work for someone else, it's much harder than when you're sitting there by yourself, no pressure, no stress, and you're just sitting there, you know, futzing with the program and messing around with the program and trying to figure things out, and you know what you want and you maybe know how to get there, and then you'll notice a lot of times that everything you grade maybe starts looking the same. But when you bring someone else in the room, especially when that person does not know how to articulate any technical color terminology, then you'll realize what it's like to be a colorist. They're not gonna come in and say, boost the contrast, raise the highlights, increase the, you know, the warm tones in the mid-tones. They're not gonna do any of that. And a big part of it is taking what someone wants, translating it, and then giving them something better than they're asking for. because they're not the colorist, you're the colorist, and they won't know how to articulate what they want, and it's your job to take that and make something better from it. I think it'll be a huge awakening if you just sit with someone and say, okay, tell me what to do to this shot. Tell me how you want it to look. And then they start directing you on color correcting and the vision they have for that shot, and you'll find how hard it is, but you'll also find that it'll make you a very good colorist, very versatile. It'll let you understand how people talk, how they speak, how they communicate, and it'll, rather than being someone who makes all of your footage looks the same and maybe has the same LUT you apply and the same tweaks you do every shot, you'll be able to take 100 different looks, 100 different clients, and make everything from a super bright, vibrant, commercial to a dark and moody cinematic commercial to a feature-length film to a corporate video. You'll know what to do with any kind of camera, any type of media, and any type of client. All of these tips combined are what will make you money as a beginner colorist, as a pro colorist, as an intermediate colorist. So definitely, jot these down if you want to be a professional colorist, or if you just want to be better at color grading and make money with it. I think if you follow all 6 of these tips, you'll be much better along. Okay, so hopefully you learned something. As usual, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.